Burroughs. John Burroughs, let me give a little bio for John Burroughs here, in case you don't know him. John is a pacifist, he's a poet, he's a playwright, he's a musician, composer, bibliophile, and a seeker in Elyria, Ohio, co-founder with Diana Bereznik of the monthly Licks and Kicks Poetry Extravaganza and the annual Winter Word Fest known as Snowetry. John is also the publisher and founding editor for Crisis Chronicles Press and a regular contributor to the Cleveland Poetics and the Ohio Poetry Association blogs. Since 2011, he has served as the OPA's webmaster pro tem. John Burroughs.
And that bio will be my first poem. Thank you very much, Brandon. Thank you, Karma Coffee. I love you.
Yeah.
And I have to say that's one of the best cappuccinos I've ever had. So, and I'm not just saying that. A poem from Waterworks. Rain glow, concupiscent dawn, lilts and twirls, turning down the high collar of a light blue tongue. Breathes tightly, swallows black and white, regurgitates color. This is the poem for Karma Coffee. It's from 6'9". It's entitled Karma Soup Draw. Tin can karma in a cemetery green sedan, driving into the past through the future, running round and round and over the illusory track of time like a bomb that never goes off. Like a song that rings in Campbell's soup cans, round and round the rims, not going out or in, just sticking to the circuit. Like a one-ring soup can gerbil wheel circus till the tin finally erodes. The illusion of time caves in, and full circle, cemetery green, karma darts to the next can in the Isle of Now. I love now, man. I love now because you are here with me. This is a new poem inspired by another coffee house where the coffee wasn't so good. And it was in a hospital cafeteria, actually. It's entitled 8 o'clock copy. When Magnum malt liquor comes in a 40, who needs 8 o'clock coffee no matter what the clock reads? Forget a coffee anyway. If healthcare comes with a price, shouldn't sickness be free? What would you pay for a sneeze? Please, you don't think people should pay for poetry, but you'll fork over 4 or more bills for a hospital coffee? Yeah. That's why they call it new shit. Here's another one written this morning. And it's kind of like the poem, you know, if you read it straight through, you don't pause at the line breaks, except when there's punctuation. It makes perfect sense. It tells a perfect story. And you shouldn't always pause after the line breaks. In fact, I hate people that always pause after every line break. But in this case, I'm going to read the poem pausing after each line break because I think each line by itself adds an extra nuance to the overall tale. It's entitled Will, as in a will and testament, or A Way of Hemming. I hear Hemingway said there is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. But he was a lying son of a gun. Just ask his mom. The more he bled, the less. He said until now he doesn't say shit. though he wrote a lot, that was published posthumously, sometimes you have to put away the bloody typewriter. Put the bloody typewriter away and breathe. Breathe in the air. Breathe out the error. And you will. But the problem comes when you come to see your whole life is an error to somebody's you loved once upon a time a whole lot more than you do now. And they fantasize about you breathing and bleeding out, no longer in. I hear Hemingway saying, this shit, I'm sick of the bell tolling, of the sun also rising. And I know that, no matter how hard I tried, my Garden of Eden will always be fiction. And I'm tired of telling. Lies especially, if it means continuing to bleed into my typewriter. My biggest fear is that when I'm gone, you'll publish it anyway, without the blah before the Eden. And it will be my worst, best bullshit. You will. If I must bleed, let it be in a foyer away from the machine butt, through my mouth, my brain, once more, then run under the front, entrance and out, and you will still. Think you hear me? The problem with having read here a couple of times, if there is a problem because I love it so much, is not remembering exactly what I read previously. Well, this is a poem inspired by an inspiring Cleveland poet who inspires me. Redundancy is fundamental. I won't say the name because it's her name, but she's not here, and I admire her. You pronounce Les Jardins like Les Jardins, but I find the way you pout your lips and curl your tongue as you enunciate sweet evidence that your other French is exquisite. And finally, before I drink more caffeine, one more poem, because anytime somebody mentions John Cage, this pops into my head, whether or not anyone wants it to, from Burroughs. So I guess that's one poem from each of my chapbooks. John Cage, engaged and uncaged. Sunken, funkin' telepumpkin. Tell a country bumpkin who I am, and then let him tell you. Both will tell it true, though their perspectives seem contradictory. I'm born of hickory and rectory, blind Bartimaeus and insightful inspectory, true tale and muddled myth on an identical trajectory. John Cage, or someone like him, is anyone like anyone more than anyone is unlike, said disharmony does not exist, and the peaceniks are pissed. Corn isn't hominy, but hominy is corn. And care isn't clothing, though care can be worn, and all can be born, and all can be torn, and scorned, and warned, and according to some bother or brother or other, reborn, sunken, funkin' telepumpkin, born of a couch potato and a pureed tomato, an almost dead and buried B-rager, blind hater, thin ice skater, war of horror, saint and horror, mental and governmental master, baiter, and sooner or later, repeat reincarnator. I am a living death, an awakened dream, ash, unconsumed, and a silent scream, reconcilable so-called contradiction and factual fiction, John Cage, uncaged, inadequately aged, and yet timeless, a sublime mess, subconsciously clothed and consciously undressed, said less and better are no worse than best. Corn is harmony, and there is no disharmony, only harmonies to which our ears, my dears, and our fears